Hey, what's up, guys? All right, so um, okay, so in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on setting up interceptors to protect against anyone trying to access the dashboard or any other pages that are not um, that are prohibited from being accessed without logging in. All right, so if you don't know interceptors, if you've worked with JSPs or if you've worked with servlets, they are similar to filters. So basically, with filters or interceptors, you then what they do is they intercept requests made to whichever controller. For example, let's say the app controller or whichever one, right? So with interceptors, what they do is they will intercept the request, and before the request hits the controller, it'll you can do whatever logic within the interceptor itself, and then what's going to happen is that it's going to check for whether or not the requirements are met, and then if not, it'll redirect wherever you set it up to redirect the users to. So in here, what we're going to do is set up an interceptor to protect against the dashboard, the payment history, and so forth, especially the dashboard because the main bulk of the application is happening within the dashboard itself. So here within the package, I'm going to create another a folder here. I'm going to call it interceptors. Okay. And interceptors. Okay. I think I spelled that correctly. So here I'll just say up uh, interceptor, right? And then I can't remember, is it instance handler interceptor? Yeah, I think that's the case. Um, hold on. No, sorry, it's not extend, it implements. Okay, all right. So in here we're gonna need three methods. So the first one is gonna be the pre-handle one, right? So this is the main one that's gonna this is the first what you call it method that's gonna run. Okay, so in here what we need to do is first I'm gonna say this is out. So in pre handle interceptor method. Okay, right. So now we're gonna say all right. So here we're gonna say if. So here we're gonna say our request, right? Dot get request URI dot starts with, okay, and then we're gonna say /app. Okay, so now so remember our app interceptor, I mean application controller, it's starts with app, then after that comes dashboard or payment history or transact history. So that's what we're going to be checking here. So if it starts with this, anything that comes after this, we then do our logic here. So we're going to say we're going to get the session first. So we're going to say HTTP um, session, and say session, and then um, sorry, then we're going to say request dot get session. Okay, all right, and then what we need to do is get the token. Okay, string. I'm gonna okay, and then here we're gonna say string uh token equals to, right, this is going to be cast to a string, and then we're going to say session, and then dot get attribute token. So now if you remember in our auth controller, right, over here. When we log the user in, we're gonna check. We set a session to we set a token which is coming from the form, right? And then here we are setting it within the session, and then we're also setting a user object, and then we also checking to see if we're also setting an authenticated object as well to true. Okay, so we're gonna check for these three items. All right, so here we come back. We're getting the token, and just so you can see that there is a token set up, what we can do is say this is out, and then we can print out that token. Okay, so here you'll be able to see whether or not there is a token set up. All right, so now we're gonna um, get the user object stored in session. Okay, right, so now we're gonna say our user. Let's import that. Okay, and then we're gonna say equals to, and then from there we're gonna say session dot get attribute, and then it's that user object. All right, then we're gonna get check if authenticated. It's these comments look a bit nicer when you use the to do method. Comment. I'm gonna do the same here. Okay, all right, right. So here we can say um, we can say boolean is authenticated. This will be passed to a boolean, right? We're gonna say session dot get attribute, and then we're gonna say all right. So this variable we're getting here is the, where is it? It's this one here, authenticated. Let me copy that, make sure we copy the right thing. Okay, right, so now we're gonna right, so we're gonna say if, right, token um dot is empty, right, and then we're gonna say for user object also, is it equal to null, and if is authenticated, we're going to say that is authenticated, right? Then we come here, we're going to say response dot send redirect to the login page. Okay, okay, and then here we're going to return false. So now remember, this pre-handle method here has to return true in order for this to, in order for the whoever is, or in order for the request to be sent to the what you call it, to the controller. Okay, so otherwise, if everything is satisfied, return true. Okay, so this has to return true, otherwise it's not going to go through. Okay, what's this? Why is it showing that? Am I missing something? I missing something here? Okay, that's the check request URI. That's this one here. This one returns true. So why is it giving me that error now? Pre-handle return void. Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing that. That's a little odd. Okay, let me just double check here. Okay, so this is the first if statement, and then we only have another one here. Okay, and this is where it's ending. Sorry, I put the return statement in the wrong place. Okay, so it needs to be here. Apologies for that. So yeah, it's supposed to end there. Okay, so now um, all right, so in here we can add other interceptors. We can say post, what is it? Post handle interceptor. After completion. Okay, so look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still yet to understand what or how we can best use these two methods here. I know this one, the moment whatever our logic is set up in here returns false or true. If it returns false, it's not gonna proceed with these two. But then if it returns true, and then you'll see in the console these two sys out statements are gonna show up. Let me say after complete. All right, so yeah, but I'm still yet to understand how these two actually work. I know for a fact that this one, this is the one where we need to set up our logic, and then if everything passes, you'll see these two are gonna run. So, but yeah, in any case, the moment this returns false, these two statements will not print out. All right. So now the other thing we need to do is we need to annotate this at component. Okay, and then we have to come back into the config application config, right, and register that interceptor. So we're gonna say add interceptors. Okay, and then after here what we then need to do is registry dot add interceptor, and if I remember correctly, okay, we need to say new, and then we say app interceptor. Okay, and then that's about it. Then here we're gonna say add URL patterns. Okay, and then here we're gonna say app, and then this is gonna be for all URLs that are under this app URL. Okay, so hopefully you are able to see that over there. All right, so I think that's basically it. um, right, okay, so let me just double check. We got our registry over here, and then um, we got our pre-handle interceptor here. All right, so I'm gonna stop the server and redeploy it. Okay, so if you remember, whenever we tried to access the dashboard, it showed that ugly error page and whatnot. So this time around, when we go to dashboard without trying to sign in, it'll then redirect us back here to the login page. If we wanted to, we could flash a message over there and say something like, you need to be logged in order to access that page or something like that. But you know what? Let's just test it first and see if we got everything right. We can maybe look into doing that afterwards. All right, guys, I'm gonna pause the video for a second, then we will check it out once it's back. All right, the server is up. All right, let's refresh. All right, so let's say app dashboard. Okay, not working. Where did we make the mistake? Add pre-handle interceptor. Java. Yeah. Okay, so it's having an issue with this one. All right. So let's move that out. Null exception. Authenticated. That's odd. We did set that value, but in any case, let's remove it, and then you can just use the token and what you call it, and the user object. So again, let's try it out, and let's see if it will work this time. One moment for me, please. All right, the server is up again. Let's go back to the login page. So I'm gonna refresh. Try again. Okay, there's another error. I know. Okay, I know it's complaining about this. So all right, so as you can see, it does hit the pre-handle interceptor, but yeah. Okay, let's try again. Hopefully that was the last issue. Um, but yeah, whatever though. Um, all right, guys, let's try one more time. In fact, I'm just gonna refresh from here. All right, so I'm gonna say app dashboard. All right, as you can see, now it's working. Okay, so clearly it didn't want the what you call it, the what you call it, the is empty method that I used on the token. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, and then you will see it's supposed to print out the token that's stored within the session. So let's log in. All right, so as you can see, it's now allowing us to go through because there's a value stored within the session. So that's the session token that's generated the moment you that we are getting from the login page. Um, the hidden input field that we set up here in the first when we were setting up the login page. All right. So now that we have that, as you can see, it displays now the pre-handle interceptor. So because all the pre-handle interceptor is kind of like the bouncer to the club, you know. So the moment you hit the pre-handle interceptor and you don't satisfy the requirements, it's going to redirect you back to the login page. So if we wanted to, we can set up a message to display what you call it, to display we can say redirect. I don't know if you can access the redirect attributes within here. So let's see if we can use that within here and say um, redirect attributes dot add um, what is it? Flash attribute, and say uh, should I say error? Let me say error. Okay. You say you need to be logged in to access that page. Let's take this error message out here. Okay, and then we're gonna place um, that error message over here. Okay, so yeah, so it's gonna redirect them back to the login page, and then hopefully it'll display that flash message. So let's run the app again, and then once it's up, we're gonna test and see if it displays that error. Okay, one moment for me, please. Wait, hold on. There seems to be an error somewhere. What's the issue here? What's that supposed to mean? Let me see. Method does not override. Okay. Okay, so looks like we won't be able to use that. Let me see. How can we use that? Um, Let me just see. Then let me see error message. I don't think it's gonna allow us to do that. Oh boy. You know what? In any case, let's leave it out. Um, Fortunately, we can't use that. So I thought we could, and so we can display that error message on the dashboard. But in any case, one last time, let's just test it out and see that our interceptor is still intact. So I'm gonna pause the video again, then we will see how we'll try out our application again. All right, let's test it out one more time. Let's log out. Let's check here. Okay, we're in the login page, right? So let's say app payment history. Okay, as you can see, it redirects us back. If you check within the console, the pre-handle interceptor caught the request and redirected us back to the login page. If you say app transaction history, okay, that one is not working. Let's see. Is that what we named it? Transaction history. Let me just close these tabs. Okay, app controller, transact history. Let me copy this. That one is saying transaction history. Okay, so let's say transact history and let's see if it does work. All right, so that was a wrong, that was not the link that we set up here. So that's why it was displaying that error. So that one was, man, apologies for that. So that was app transact history, right? That's our, that's the link that we set up here within our app controller, that one there. And then we're gonna test payment history, payment history. That doesn't work. So this one is not our link. This was from a previous, what is it? A previous, um, from the previous project that I showed you guys. So this one definitely will not work. All right, not found. All right, yeah. So in any case, yeah, our what you call it, our interceptor is working. If you check the console, you will see all the times that the pre-handle interceptor has been called, and then this one there's no get mapping for it, as you can see there. That's why it gave us that error. All right, so again, let's just test. Can we log in? All right, so we're still able to log in, still able to perform our transactions, payment history, transaction history, and so forth. All right, so yeah, guys, that's how you can use. There's a lot more that you can do with interceptors. It depends on what you can think of in order to protect against to protect your what you call it, your controllers and all of that. So you can check what URL are they trying to accept. Like for example, even in the um, transact, but this one won't work because we only have um, post mappings within here. There's no get mapping along with the account controller as well. But if you had like get mapping, for example, if let's say your controller has like different pages where you can set up where you can perform payments, transfers, deposits. If you had those pages in here and you had get mappings for them, so you could protect it depending on how you set up your request mapping over there or the URI, you know. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things that you can do with interceptors, but I still haven't yet understood how you can actually use these two because I know that once this passes through, then these two methods are then gonna run. But if this fails, none of these are gonna be called. Okay, so yeah, that's how you can use interceptors to implement some security in your application and prevent unauthorized access to users who are not logged in, or maybe people who are trying to do malicious stuff. You can even try and do authentication within here before it reaches the controller. If certain requirements in terms of the authentication doesn't work, you can then return them back to wherever you want within your pre-handle method. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that's it for the video. I'm not sure if there's anything else we need to do. Um, I think we've done all we needed to do in terms of the whole project. And in any case, if there is anything, I will post another video. But I think at this point we are done with the project itself. All right, guys. So that's it for the video. Um, Again, if you were not frustrated with what I was doing here, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video, possibly. Cheers for now.